Now, Leon Rose was also asked about some of the upcoming contracts, especially involving RJ Barrett and Mitchell Robinson, which I found very interesting because remember, this is an in-house interview. So it's an MSG interview. So I don't know if they're kind of leveraged certain questions to kind of get a picture to Mitchell Robinson that they want to negotiate more, because he talked about how he's still in negotiations with Mitchell Robinson all the way through until free agency. So that's interesting that they threw that question in there. So once again, you got to pay attention to the media games here because this is an in-house MSG interview. So tough questions won't be asked. But I was surprised they asked about Mitchell's contract. That tells me that they're probably kind of took a break from negotiations, but they kind of threw it out there that they're still trying to negotiate with Mitch. So they're trying to let their camp know something through this interview. Or they're trying to let the fan base down easy by letting them know, hey, we've been trying to negotiate with Mitch this whole time and we ended up losing him. But remember, we told you guys back in the springtime that we were negotiating with him all the way up until free agency. These are the media tricks that they play, man. Boy, I'm telling you, why would they throw that question in there in an in-house MSG interview? There's a reason why they talked about Mitch. They didn't throw in any tough questions throughout the whole interview. But they threw in the most toughest question to ask about because we knew all season the Knicks were in negotiations with Mitch back and forth, but still there was no agreement. So to throw in a Mitchell Robinson contract was probably throwing in the most done data of all tough questions you could ask. But there's a reason that they put that question in there. Remember, this is a completely controlled interview. All the questions being asked was already gone over.
Well, with Mitchell, there's been ongoing discussions throughout the year with his agent, and those discussions will continue, and will continue into for the remainder of the time until free agency.
All right, what did you see from him this year?
From Mitchell, I saw Mitchell. Mitchell had a phenomenal year. He, was our anchor on defense, and really took a nice step this year. And even showed us a little bit on offense, especially that one through the legs, down the lane, and then the dunk.
And it's an unfortunate thing that Leon Rose has no leverage in these negotiations at all. Remember, it's all about the timing. And the timing of this situation, Mitchell Robinson last summer, when we had the leverage, he was coming off a season where he was not healthy for the whole year. And throughout his career, we really haven't seen consistency from month in and month out from Mitch. And that led us up to last summer, in which the Knicks opted into his final year for another $1.5 million. So he's made about $5 million in the last 4 years with the Knicks. He's probably gotten paid like 1.5 per year or 1.2 per year. Overall, in the 4 years he's been with us, once again, he's made $5 million. So we know for sure he's looking to get paid. And there's other teams, probably with more cap space. If they throw the $18 million a year at Mitch, he's going to go for it. Once again, from Mitchell Robinson's perspective, he's looking at how the Knicks operated last season. They opted in and paid him another $1 million for another year, thus making him an unrestricted free agent this summer. They drafted Jericho Sims, and then they paid Nerlens Noel money. So the two guys that sit behind Mitch got paid, and they opted in to underpay Mitch for another year. So we got to keep this in mind to understand the mindset of how Mitch is going to attack this year's free agency. He's looking to get paid. And let's not forget his uncle, how he went on Twitter and he said that he loved the Knicks, but he does not like Mitch's offensive role with the Knicks, and he can't wait to get his nephew off that team. That's what his uncle said. And you know how the new media games work. A lot of the players are speaking through their family members. We've seen it play out with Kawhi. We see it play out with Zion Williams, and now Mitch. Once again, we got to look at why in this interview that was filled with alley-hoop questions from in-house media members included questioning on Mitchell Robinson's contract. There's a reason why these things were put in there. And in my opinion, the Knicks are beginning to set up a nice cushion for a soft landing for Knicks fans to realize that they have lost Mitchell Robinson.
Easy money.
Now, Leon Rose also spoke about RJ Barrett's upcoming contract. Before the start of next season, the Knicks do have the opportunity to give him a rookie max scale extension. But unlike the Mitchell Robinson's contract questioning, Leon Rose chose not to divulge any information on the RJ Barrett's contract negotiations. Once again, his response to the RJ contract negotiation question, it just tells me everything I need to know about Mitch. And in my opinion, I believe he's already gone. But as far as RJ is going to negotiate his contract from a very unique position. I believe he may apply some pressure for the Knicks to get him some outside help.
RJ took a great step this year, took more responsibility, covered the best player on the other team on a nightly basis, and has really elevated his game. I can't really put a ceiling on where he'll go. As far as, the plan and negotiations, I think we'll keep that private for now.
RJ's contract situation is a little different. The Knicks, of course, they have the highest odds of re-signing him. It should eventually go that way. But the only thing I say is unique is because RJ, for a third-round pick, he's a little bit under performance-wise. He's a little bit under what his peers did around that same pick range in the draft. The contract he's eligible for is the same contract Jason Tatum got, Jaylen Brown, Donovan Mitchell, Trae Young, that around, I believe, 4 years or 5 years, 180. A lot of that is incentive based. You got to make the All-Star, etc. There's a lot of NBA first teams you got to make in order to hit that full amount. But I'm not sure if the Knicks are going to be willing to go that full amount. They actually might get him on a discount. Who knows? But the likeliness of the Knicks re-signing him is very high. I just don't know what the amount is going to be for. But once again, the fact that Leon Rose did not even give a hint about how the negotiations are going for with that contract with RJ, it just tells me everything I need to know about Mitch. Mitch is pretty much gone.
Surgical Summer Volume 1.